Hey guys, welcome to the Kansas City cast. I'm Mason, my brother Micah over there, and this is our good friend Jarred. We were all born and raised here in Kansas City. We work in Kansas City. We sell real estate here, and we love everything about Kansas City. And so today we're going to talk about outdoor lifestyle in Kansas City, the things to do, maybe some things to avoid. Let's kick it off with our hot spot of the week. Micah, you've got that one?
We do. So we always do a hot spot of the week to kick off each episode. And this week we're talking about Loose Park. So we're sticking kind of with the outdoor living theme.
Yeah.
And we're going to a park, Loose Park. If you've never been, this is a park that is just south of the plaza, the Country Club Plaza. And it is a beautiful park, especially in the spring and summer. They have a rose garden there that has something like 3,000 roses. It's some crazy number. But I'll tell you what, it is super pretty, especially in that time of year to go and walk around and see that. But big open green space. They have a little lake pond thing there. It's a great place to go just for some time outdoors, to take a walk. They have about a mile paved trail, which is really nice.
So you actually did your wedding pictures there, right?
We did, yeah. We did our wedding photos there. They were later into the summer, so the rose garden had it wasn't in full bloom at that point, but still a really beautiful venue for things like that. And people do all kinds of different things at pictures and that kind of thing at Loose Park because of how pretty it is. But it's really just a nice place to go and enjoy some time outdoors. Lots of open green space, so it's great for a little walk or a picnic. We've many a times had dinner on the plaza and then grabbed dessert and drove down to Loose Park and sat there and had the dessert there on the lawn. It's a really nice way to spend a night.
For sure. I mean, if you're ever there, like in the spring or fall on like a beautiful day, like people will be everywhere, throwing the football around or frisbee or hammocks or whatever, just enjoying Kansas City at its finest.
I've even noticed that we'll go down there on a weeknight and it's way busier than I maybe anticipated it being. So it just feels like there's always people down there. And they do different events and stuff too throughout the year, which is really cool. They have a concert kind of thing that they'll do. This year I saw they were advertising a Santa thing. They're going to have,
cool.
It's like Santa paws or something. So stuff, you bring your dog and you can get pictures of Santa with your dog. So they do little events and stuff throughout the year too, which is really fun. But it's a cool spot to check out if you haven't yet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very cool. As we kick things off into kind of exploring more of kind of what outdoor living likes, sorry, that's on me.
You're good.
Yeah, that's great. As we kick things off and talk a little bit more about what outdoor living looks like here in Kansas City, we'll stick with the park theme and kind of chat a little bit more about kind of maybe the other parks that Kansas City has to offer. I know there are several near the Northland, and then as you kind of get into the south side of town, Swope Park is a big one.
Yeah, I think Swope Park is one of the largest parks in the country, actually.
I didn't know it was that
huge.
I know it's huge, but
yeah, people always forget like the zoo, Starlight, whatever, but like there's a lot more to Swope Park than just those things. It's massive.
What are some of your, so obviously the zoo sticks out. That's easy. Starlight, that's all there. If you haven't been to those things, that's obviously really cool things to check out. Starlight's a big outdoor venue, so they do a bunch of shows and stuff outside there. You'll have to see some concerts and things, and then they do like some theater type things. There was a Frozen musical thing this year.
We took the kids to Frozen, yeah, great.
So they do things like that all the time. You can get season passes to all the stuff they do there. So it's a really cool venue. And it is, it's outdoors. So it's a cool place to see some stuff like that. And then the zoo is there, of course, which is really cool. But what else do you love when you go to Swope Park? Do you have any go-tos?
Yeah, Swope Park, there's Lakeside Nature Center. So they have an animal rescue to actually across the street from Casey Pet Project. So there's like an animal rescue. There's some outdoor, things to see and do. They have like a bird feeder garden that they have bird feeders that they attract birds to, that they have like little huts you can hide in so you can see the birds kind of up close, which is really fun. And then there's some like hiking and a little bit of like boulders that you can climb on and stuff. So it's pretty cool. We like taking kids down there.
That's what I was. And is there a golf course down there?
There's a golf course in Swope Park. Yep.
Yep. So if you
Swope
want to
Memorial.
get 18 holes in, you can do it there. And then it's actually being renovated right now, I think.
Yeah, the golf course is being renovated right now.
Yep. And so I think all that's scheduled to be done sometime later next year. But it's really cool to see a lot more of that sort of revitalization coming from that stuff.
There's a huge dog park there too.
Oh, yeah.
If you like that kind of thing, there's a huge dog park and it has like a pond or lake that the dogs can access as well. So
that sounds like
pretty
a
cool.
nightmare. that probably is really fun for them, but I
Yep.
don't know. I want to deal with the aftermath.
That's fair. Fair.
And you have to
Putting
put a
that
wet dog back in your
Mm.
car, and ooh, not fun.
Yep.
I don't know about that one, but super cool for them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like there's a ton of parks in Kansas City. It's not just Swope Park in Kansas City proper. We're talking there's Hodge Park, which is in the Northland, which is
Yeah.
again like it's a huge park.
Way bigger than you'd think. And same thing there. I mean, they got all kinds of things.
Mhm.
Golf course.
Of course,
They had that living history museum, which
which
is really
super
cool.
fun.
Yeah, they have. It's if you haven't ever been, it's they took a bunch of buildings from the 1800s and relocated them there, and they set up this little town.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see. I think there's like 20 or something structures there, all kind of from that time period, and it is really cool to go up there and just walk around. You can kind of do a self-guided thing if you want to just walk, and they have brochures and stuff. But then they will throughout the year do different events where they'll open up some of the buildings and you can go inside, and it's a really cool way to kind of step back in time a little bit.
Definitely, yeah, it's a really fun way to spend an afternoon in the living history farm.
Yeah, they've got a little schoolhouse out there. There's a old jail they've got out there. So
There's a water wheel,
there is a water
Uh-huh.
wheel. Yeah.
and every year they have events and they'll do like reenactments and stuff. It's pretty cool.
It's really cool to be able to just. I always wonder, especially when you look at sites like that, like what would it look like to see this, back in the 1800s? And it's really cool that you get to actually have a chance at that. And when they're not doing things like that, it's a really cool. I know we've gone up there several times and like taken family pictures,
Mhm.
and it's
Yeah.
just really pretty to go see. The park itself is beautiful. They have, I don't know if they still do. At one point they had a bunch of like bison
They
up
do.
there.
Yep,
Okay.
they sell the bison.
Yep. So that's really cool. If you haven't ever seen, one of those up close and personal, you can go, and they're, like a fenced in area. So it's not like a safety concern, but it's really cool to go in. You're not going to be that close and personal, but it is cool to be able to see some of those fairly up close. It's, they're beautiful.
Definitely. Let's see another park here in Kansas City, the Roanoke Park. You guys know much about Roanoke Park?
I haven't spent much time there, honestly.
It's fair. It's down by kind of Nelson Atkins.
Okay.
I believe that's where they do Shakespeare in the Park every year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Down in Roanoke Park there. Again, just kind of in central part of Kansas City. There's some fun things to do. I mean, just green space in the middle of the city, which a lot of cities don't really have. So
Yeah.
really fun way to kill an afternoon if you want to go hang out, have a picnic, that kind of thing. So
Absolutely.
Next, let's talk about Shawnee Mission Park. I have limited experience with Shawnee Mission Park, but it's one of the places that I go to play disc golf. So that's they've got a big 18-hole disc golf course out there, really nice, super well maintained. So it's a really good time whenever I'm out on the Kansas side and looking to play. That's one of the places I go often. But I've got friends that have gone. They've got a big lake out there, and you can actually rent kayaks and stuff and go out on the lake. And so it's a fun little way, whether you're looking to just kill time on a Saturday or spend a date night. You can go out to the park, have some dinner, rent a kayak, spend some time out in the water. It's a really good a way to spend the evening.
yeah, definitely. I know Shawnee Mission Park. It's like a 120-acre lake that they have there, I
Yeah.
guess. So it's pretty good size. I mean, it's a massive park. It's like 1,600-acre park, but there's a swimming beach as well. So you don't often think of like swimming in the lake in
Right.
Missouri, but
Right.
hey, or I guess that's in Kansas. Sorry,
Yeah.
Johnson County fans.
There you go.
Kansas side there. A little love to Kansas.
Yep.
I know a lot of people take family photos out there because it's
Yeah.
just beautiful. There's like a wooded section that I see a lot of people take family photos at. I think there's also maybe some mountain biking trails and some hiking trails, and I know we'll get into some hiking stuff later, but definitely some opportunity there to be really outdoors and enjoy that. So
It's cool when you see a park like that has something for everybody. I mean, between the lake and the hiking
Mhm.
and just the green space, and then Mace, like you said, the disc golf, like there's all kinds of reasons to go out there. And so you could go out there several times and really spend your day in a completely different way and get a whole bunch of different variety of experiences, which is a really cool thing
For
about that
sure.
one.
Yeah. They've got a couple different really large, very cool playground things for the kids to climb on. I'm not going to lie. I drive by and get a little jealous.
I know playgrounds have gotten significantly cooler
They
than when we were
They
kids.
have. Oh, yeah.
It was just like one tunnel and a slide, I feel
Yeah.
like, and now it's these giant, super cool looking structures. and-
Climbing structures and all that.
Zip lines.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's okay. We can live vicariously
That's
through
right.
our children.
That's
right.
That's right.
Yep. Well, you want to talk some more about, we talked about disc golf a little bit, but obviously there's all kinds of different courses around Kansas City, and that's a big piece of outdoor life for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I mean, really since 2020, Kansas City's always been kind of a a disc golf hub in the country. We've had Waterworks is probably the most well known course that's in the Northland for people that play disc golf around the country. But gosh, really since 2020, we've really just seen that whole sport really explode. And so the money and stuff that's being poured into new disc golf courses in Kansas City is obviously we have the classics, Waterworks, Rosedale out on the Kansas side, which is a great one. But there's ones that have been around for a while that they're going in and redoing. Bad Rock in Liberty is another one that has been around for a little bit, but they just recently went in and completely redid it all and added a bunch of stuff. And it's actually the pros came and played here this last year. So they just have a new one in Lenexa that's called Black Hoof. I have not been out there to play that one yet, but I've heard really great things from friends that have been out that way. So it's just really cool to see if you're looking to kind of get outside, even if you're not very good. Disc golf is a fun way to kind of get some exercise in, hang out with some friends, and see just a lot of Kansas City and the cool things we have to offer when it comes to that kind of outdoor lifestyle.
And a lot of them are in parks like China Mission
For sure.
Park and
Yes.
even Waterworks. Like there's a park there. So there's all kinds of different opportunities. So if you're maybe new to disc golf and you think you might want to try it, go out to the park and hang out, and then try your hand at a couple holes. And if you don't like it, you can go do something else at the park. And so it's really it's a really sort of low impact way. And it's not like regular golf where you have to spend all kinds of money to
Yeah.
jump in and you paid for the day or paid for the course or whatever. It's free to walk up and access at these parks. You just have to have the disc that you throw and you're ready to roll. So it's a really fun way to have a real low impact activity with friends to hang out. And it's become I feel like it's grown a lot in Kansas
For
City,
sure
at
it
least over
has.
the last 4 or 5 years.
Absolutely. Have you ever played, Jared?
Oh yeah, I played a lot in college.
Okay.
As life got busier and
Yeah.
adulthood, have not played as much, but
Sure.
yep, have definitely played some. I mean, there's even like some courses that you kind of forget about, like English Landing in Parkville has a
English Landing has a
course.
9-hole
Yep, has a little course
course.
there.
It's really nice. It's right on the river. So it's really, really cool views. You do have to be a little bit careful. That park is more
Park's a little bit busier. Yeah, you
yeah,
might
a little bit
hit a
busier.
kid with a disc.
Right. But yeah, it's a great way if you're looking it's really flat. And so some of them, you're kind of hiking a lot more when you're playing. This one it's all flat, really easy to kind of walk up and play a few holes, and it's not too challenging. So it's a great place to kind of hit for the afternoon and get your steps in and play lone disc golf.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
There's even some random ones like Pleasant Valley Baptist Church up in
Uh-huh,
Liberty
I
has
was gonna
a
say.
little 9-hole course, I believe.
They do. It's very good. The layout is great. It's not super crowded because a lot of people don't really know about it.
Yeah.
So
Secret's out now.
I know
That's right.
secrets out now, but it's yeah, it's one of my favorite. If I'm just looking to get 9 holes in, it's one of my go-tos.
It's easy. It's an easy course to play too. I feel like because you can play 9 if you want, or if you want to double it and
Do it twice.
do
Play
18,
twice.
yeah.
Yep.
But if you feel like you want to get out and play a little bit, but you don't have a ton of time, it's kind of an easy one to just drop in and play really quick. Because some of those 18-hole courses, by hole 10, 11, 12, you're kind of far away from your card. It's laid
Depending on how
out.
it's laid
So
out, yeah.
it is nice to be that you have the option at the end of 9 to stop, where you
Mhm.
can run it back and do it again.
Yeah.
Something related to disc golf that we haven't really talked about. It wasn't in our show notes, but we're gonna go there. Pickleball.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
you
another
can't
thing.
drive through Kansas City and not see a pickleball court. They're popping up everywhere. Especially when you think about Chicken and Pickle, headquartered here in North Kansas City. They're obviously have expanded across the country. Great way to hop into a pickleball game even when the weather's not so great outside. They have some indoor options
Uh-huh.
as well.
Uh
But it feels like every park in Kansas City now has pickleball courts, right?
It feels like Chicken and Pickle was probably the what sort of, I don't want to say brought pickleball to Kansas City,
Mhm.
but it feels like that really was sort of the go-to for a long time.
sure.
And then over the years, as the sport picked up in popularity, you started to see more and more of those courts pop up at just random. I know English Landing has a few courts
Yeah.
there, which are really great. E.H. Young Park
Yeah.
down by
a great park.
the casino has one,
Mhm.
and or has several, and I think there's 8 or 9 of them out there.
Yeah.
And those have they're lit, so
Yeah.
you can play well into the summer,
Mhm.
after it gets dark, or into the spring and fall too, as it gets darker earlier and earlier.
Yep.
Mhm.
You can stretch that out even more and play later in the evening.
They
As some
just
of
built
those.
some new ones out in Liberty. I think there's 6 or 8 of them out there now, where they just built those. So I know they host a lot of leagues and stuff there.
Oh yeah,
So it can be a great way to get connected, with other people that are super passionate about pickleball.
Yeah. So if you're at English Landing Park and you want to try disc golf or pickleball, they've got it all. And you're starting to see more and more of that at all these parks as they do renovations and put in new things. A lot of people are, if they had tennis courts, a lot of times they're pulling them
converting
out
them into
and converting them into pickleball courts, which is really cool to see. And nothing against tennis, but it is cool to see pickleball grow in
a
popularity.
little bit more accessible
Little
for
bit,
people.
yeah,
So.
for sure. Definitely more accessible for me. So yeah, no, it's a really cool way to explore and enjoy the outdoors in Kansas City. But
let's talk a little bit more about outdoor shopping. I know we'd kind of hit it on it a little bit in a previous episode, but there's a ton of outdoor shopping malls popping up all around Kansas City. I know for us living in the Northland, Zona Rosa is one of the bigger ones that comes to mind. That's where we tend to do all of our Christmas shopping. And honestly, just it's a great place to go grab dinner on a weeknight, hang out, walk around. My wife likes to go into the shops and look around. So it can be a great way to kind of spend a little date night in an evening out at one of the outdoor shopping malls here in Kansas City.
I believe they also put in some pickleball courts.
They did. Yep. There's a restaurant, and as part of the restaurant, they put in some pickleball courts, so you can go in and reserve those. I just recently went to a friend's birthday party out at the restaurant, and they had reserved the pickleball courts for the evenings, and so we had a chance to kind of get out and play a little bit of pickleball. It was a great time.
It's fun. Yeah, I mean, Zona, obviously, we talked about it in the previous episode a little bit, which is funny because that was our hot take that we should build less of them.
Less outdoor shopping malls.
Yep.
But outdoor shopping malls definitely are ingrained in the culture of Kansas City, I think.
Yeah.
And, especially when it's spring, fall, nice days. It's a good way to go spend, if you have some errands or whatever run, you need to buy some new clothes or shoes or whatever, like, at least you can do it outside on a beautiful day sometimes. So,
yeah, you're right. You can. It's love them or hate them. They're here in Kansas City.
Yep, they are here.
And then it is cool because they'll do different events and things throughout the year. I know Zona Rosa does like at Christmas time they do their tree lighting, which is always a big deal. They bring in a big stage and a band and
there's a big Italian fest every year.
That happens at Zona Rosa. Yeah,
where they bring in a bunch of vendors and you can try a bunch of cool food and that kind of stuff.
Really fun.
They have an ice skating rink in the winter, which is kind of cool. So, I mean, man, it's so funny you talk about this. Like Zona Rosa, even over the last 4 or 5 years, has really grown. And because there was a time period where I think it probably some folks were pulling back.
Declined for a while, yeah.
But it is really cool now to see it kind of it's been revitalized and it's kind of coming back in a lot of really cool ways. So it's exciting to see.
And then if you're out on the Kansas side, the Legends is a great place to check out. There's a ton of restaurants and shops out there. There's even a movie theater out at that one.
Yeah, you can do an AMC movie down there, which is really great. They have several outlet stores, so you can go and like Nike and that kind of thing is all out there. Not far from there is like Nebraska Furniture Mart. So it's massive. It's really fun to just go walk around, even if you don't have any furniture to buy. It's just kind of entertaining to go walk around and look at everything. And that one's obviously indoor, but it's really close to that whole shopping center. So it's cool to kind of make a day of it if you're out there.
Definitely. And then, of course, we can't talk about outdoor shopping in Kansas City and not talk about the Country Club Plaza, right?
Yep. That's the classic. That's what you think of.
Yep. Country Club Plaza is obviously like a classic Kansas City staple, which is also seeing a revitalization right now, right? A new developer has bought the plaza and is, public-private partnership, redeveloping it, trying to make it more accessible. Because part of the problem for the plaza for a while was that our local, vendors, local stores had gotten kind of priced out by the plaza. It got too expensive for them. But this new developer has an eye for making it more accessible for the local brands that Kansas Cityans love. So excited for that to kind of be in process over the next few years. And hopefully, it becomes another great place to hang out and eat and shop again. It's still good, but looking forward to it being better.
No, I understand what you mean. There are, I think, as you walk around, just some of the stores and even restaurants and all that's down there, it just feels like a very different vibe. And I think that you're right. You get to a point where some of the local brands just can't really compete with some of those larger names. And so it is a really fun place to go and spend an evening. If you're looking for a more kind of upscale shopping, upscale dining options, there's all kinds of that down there on the plaza. And then, like we said, Loose Park's not far. So it's really nice to make a day of it that way. There's all kinds of fountains down there. That's obviously, if you're not from here, Kansas City is the city of fountains. And we are. Yeah, you can definitely tell when you walk around an area like the Country Club Plaza because there's a ton of them down there.
Why don't we talk about some outdoor dining, since the plaza kind of has a little bit of that?
Yeah.
There's some great places around the city that we can do some outdoor dining. Obviously, the plaza, there's tons of patios you can sit on. You know, a lot of the restaurants down there have a place to sit outdoors, which is really fun. But one that comes to mind that's a little bit newer and very like local Kansas City focused, the Iron District, North Kansas City.
Yeah, that one. So a little further north of the plaza, but it is really, really unique if you've never been there. They basically take these giant shipping containers and they sort of convert them into permanent, almost like a food truck, but it doesn't move anywhere. And it's a really cool place if you've never been to eat. They've got all kinds of different vendors. So it's one of those, almost like a food court, but everything's in a shipping container.
Yeah. And they've got plenty to choose from. So really kind of any kind of cuisine that you're feeling, they've got it there. They've got a little kind of a wine bar there as well. There's some other just kind of little kind of clothing shops that have set up within the shipping container. So they've got everything from kind of your walk up, grab the food and go. They've got desserts. So it's a great place to kind of hang out and spend the evening.
And don't worry if you don't want to sit outside or the weather's not great. Like they actually have an indoor dining spot as well, right? A little covered, and
Yeah.
in the winter, I think they close it up to make it a little bit more climate controlled, so you can still enjoy it year round, not just in our kind of shoulder seasons of spring and fall, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's the one of the things we talked about with the outdoor shopping is it feels like in Kansas City, it's hard to enjoy a lot of those things for very long because
Hmm.
it's usually either really hot or in the winter it's really cold. You get both extremes on either end of that. So you are finding those little times in the spring and fall that you can um plug into something that where you're eating outside, you're not miserable one way or the other. But it is cool to see venues like that provide options that give you a little bit more runway
Yeah.
throughout the year.
I think there's also Westport. We kind of forget about Westport sometimes, but
Sure.
a lot of the places in Westport there's some rooftop bars and dining in Westport. There's some great patios. The original Char Bar
Yeah,
is
the
in,
Starbucks
right?
got a really great
And they have a
outdoor.
great outdoor space.
Hmm.
There's also a Char Bar over in Creekside, which is pretty cool.
And they have pickleball courts,
They do. They
which
also have
is
pickleball
just
courts out there.
shows you again how pickleball has just almost begun to take over here in Kansas City. But yeah, it is really cool to see. And that one up in Parkville, yeah, I mean, great outdoor space, pickleball courts. It looks similar, I think, to some of the stuff in that you'll see other outdoor dining spaces down south. But it is really cool to see how those options have continued to grow.
Definitely. And Creekside's something that, is a newer concept here in Kansas City, but they've integrated some green space with their outdoor space and their restaurants and it's a mixed use development, right? So there's some apartments and
Yeah.
living, which is pretty cool to be able to, walk downstairs from your apartment and grab a great, pizza at Whiskey River
Uh-huh.
Yep.
or Mexican food or, just
Walk
kind of
across the
tons of
street to
options.
Johnny's Taverns
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
They have some great coffee shops out that way. And
Yeah, there's some really fun things there that you can kind of hop in and really like outdoors integrated into your normal daily life, right? There's a X Golf over there, which is like an indoor golf simulator, but they have a little like putting green outside. It's pretty cool. So lots of great options on the Creekside, which is a newer development out there in Parkville.
Another thing that's really kind of a big part of outdoor life in Kansas City that we haven't talked about yet is farmers markets. Obviously, the big one that comes to mind when I think about that is River Market, but there's also some others. Which ones have you guys tended to find?
Yeah, the River Market's great, but that's been well covered by a lot of people, right? Parkville also has a really good one. I think they do on Wednesdays and Saturdays throughout the summer months mostly. And it's really cool. They always have lots of great local vendors there. And it's right down the street from Main Street Parkville and English William Park, I guess. It's in English William
Yeah,
Park. So,
yeah.
so there's lots of options, if you want to go hit the farmer's market up and then grab coffee at Parkville Coffee or Rochester, something like that. Like right there, really convenient. And there's always great vendors there.
I know there's some out in other parts of the city too, like Overland Park and Brookside. Have you been out to any of those?
Yeah, the Overland Park Farmers Market is huge.
Okay, cool. I've never been out there.
It's kind of in downtown Overland Park, which people kind of forget that Overland Park has a downtown. I actually used to work down the corner from it, and on Wednesdays throughout the summer, it gets packed. It's Wednesday mornings. They usually have something for kids going on, like a little event or something, and then just vendors come from all over the place to sell things. And right down from local coffee shops, restaurants, that kind of things. Just a really great farmers market there that people love and have loved for a lot of years. It's been part of kind of the revitalization of downtown Overland Park, which they've done a great job revitalizing their downtown over the last decade or two. So
That's incredible. I love those. Of course, I know Overland Park is big in terms of the farmers market, but I think about Parkville and some of those other ones that are maybe a little bit more accessible. River Market sometimes feels like it's a big thing that you make a day of it. Parking's sometimes a challenge depending on especially if you go on a Saturday morning and it's a beautiful day. It's like we're gonna have to walk a little bit to get there. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a phenomenal farmers market, all kinds of really great vendors, but it is nice to have some of those maybe smaller venues that feel a little bit more accessible, easier to get in and out of on a Saturday or something.
And it's nice to be able to hit something midweek too. I know Parkville does some stuff on Wednesdays. I think Overland Park does some stuff on Wednesdays. So it's really great if you're not looking to kind of fight the morning traffic at a farmer's market on like a Saturday. It can be a great way to still kind of get that experience. I think Parkville's is like Wednesday afternoons into kind of the early evening. So great way to kind of get off work, hop over to the farmer's market for a little bit and kind of get your farmer's market fix in while not having to deal with a ton of crowds and a ton of people.
For sure. Liberty also has a farmer's market. I think theirs is only Saturday mornings, but they have a good little farmer's market.
Oh, they do in downtown Liberty?
Yeah, on the square, so historic square right there.
Another reason to go. It's so cool to see like the downtown areas of some of these smaller municipalities just really revitalized and all kinds of activity and stuff going on. I think they do have, now that you say that, I think they have different events throughout the year. Last year, I don't know if they're doing it again this year. I know last year they did a big Halloween thing with those businesses down in the downtown square where you could go sort of business to business and kids could get candy and all that. So really cool to see that for the city.
Yeah, and then Brookside also has a pretty vibrant farmers market. It's been going for a long time, and that's a really popular one for people on the south end of Kansas City there.
Yeah, you don't have to drive a ton. Obviously, River Market's there, but if you want another option, kind of on the south side of town, it's another really good one to plug into.
Yeah, definitely.
Lastly, we haven't talked about this yet, especially as summer winds down. We're getting out of this season, but let's talk about lakes in Kansas City. What are the options there?
Yeah, we have a surprisingly large amount of lakes that are really accessible to people who live in the city and surrounding suburbs. I think one that really comes to mind, Wyandotte County Lake.
Yeah.
So just on the Kansas side, if you're on the Missouri side, it's like literally just across the state line, so it's not very far at all. But again, like a massive park that has a huge lake in it, really popular for fishing, boating, kayaking, that kind of thing. And it's like right kind of in the heart of KCK. So another really good accessible option there. And apparently, my wife has told me this, there's a very cool like historic library in Wyandotte County Park.
Really?
That's close to the lake. But apparently it's really cool. They have a lot of like historical things about Wyandotte County and the people who kind of settled the area and as it's grown. So
that's really cool. I had no idea that was there. Learn something new every day.
That's right.
I know Smithville Lake is one that I've spent quite a bit of time in, and that's great. It's a little further north, so like if you're in the Northland, it's kind of on the north edge of the Northland there. But it's a huge lake. Ton of people go out there with their jet skis, boats, and just kind of spend the day. There's some like little beach areas that you can kind of hang out on. Kids can play in and have access right to the water there. There's also,
I wonder if that's a thing in other parts of the like middle of the country. Those beaches on lakes, like that's like the best we can
like
do.
It for sure is.
Like this is, look, we're landlocked. We're here, and if you want sand and water, we're gonna put it next to a lake.
That's right. That's right. We do have a lot. That is an Army Corps of Engineer lake, so it's a man-made lake. They dammed the Platte River, I believe, to do that. But because it's so big, there's tons of options around it. So you have like a more accessible part of the lake, but then if you go like farther north, like the north end of the lake, like it's a little bit more wild per se. So you can actually like hunt and fish on that part. That's a little bit less boat traffic, a little more if you want to be away from other people more. There's lots of options around the lake for that kind of thing too, which is really fun.
Well, and it's cool that you can actually put a boat on it too, because a lot of lakes here around town, they're just not big enough to actually put anything, on it that's got a little bit of power. Sometimes you can put a boat on it, but it's got to be real low powered. They have limits and stuff on that. So it is really cool to see a lake like that you can actually put some stuff out on.
Yeah, definitely. There's also Lake Jacomo.
Yeah.
I believe that's out in Blue Springs area. And Lake Jacomo, again, same as Smithville. You can you can camp there, you can rent boats, you have boats on the water there, and just another great way to kind of enjoy water life, lake life, if you will, here in the Kansas City metro. It's really fun.
Yeah, I know I have friends that will go down and rent kayaks or paddle boards.
Mhm.
Paddle boards have become super popular.
Yeah,
For
that's
sure.
another thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can go down and you can bring your own, obviously, if you have one, or rent one. And it's a really fun way to spend a lot of time. I know they have some trails and stuff and all that down there too.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's really cool to go spend some time doing all that stuff.
Yeah. And I guess being real estate agents, we'd be remiss not to talk about that there are some neighborhoods here in Kansas City that have some accessible lakes.
Yeah.
Weatherby Lake,
Yep.
Lake Wacomas here in the Northland are both, kind of neighborhoods built around lakes that are really accessible for the people who live there. It's really fun. Lake Quivira on the Kansas side as well. And I'm sure there's a couple more that I'm forgetting, but there is some opportunity if you actually want to live in the city but be on a lake. It
Yeah.
exists here in Kansas City, which is
Wrist
pretty
Lake
fun.
in Parkville.
Wrist Lake. Yep.
Yep.
Wrist
Yeah.
Lake is pretty cool as
Another
well.
one in the Northland.
There's plenty of options both on kind of the north side of town and the south side of town.
Lake Lotawana
Yep.
on the south side. So some great opportunities. Obviously, you pay to live on the lake a little bit more, but
Yeah, you do.
but it's worth it if you really want that kind of lake life lifestyle. If you're like me and you're like, I'd love the lake house, but when would I ever make it down to the lake? They can be a great option to be closer to your lake can be part of your kind of your normal life. So
Absolutely. You don't have to take a trip down to get to your lake house. It's just part of your everyday.
that's right,
You wake up on the water.
for sure. Well, I think that's a good time to transition to our hot take because it's very much related to outdoor lifestyle here in Kansas City.
All right. This was another viewer submission.
Viewer
one.
submission. That seems to be the par for the course these
The
days.
trend.
That's right. So our hot take today, there's no good hiking in Kansas City. And I think we have to talk about like what makes good hiking. What do you want with good hiking? Because I might disagree with this one.
Yeah, I think I do too. It probably depends on what I think it totally depends on where you're coming. I think if you're comparing it to some hikes that you would do maybe in the western part of the country, I can 100% see where you're coming from. I just think you may have to adjust your expectations a little bit.
Yeah, and that's something to say it's not good hiking. Like there's good hiking in the sense of like there's some cool things that you can see when you hike, right? Like I think about a super easy hike, Parkville Nature Sanctuary.
Oh yeah.
And after a good rain or in the spring when the creek's flowing, there's a great waterfall there that you can enjoy. So if you're thinking like great hiking means great views, like we do have that here in Kansas City. I mean, that's not mountains, right? Like we don't have mountains per se, but close to us, there's some good hiking. Weston Bend has some great
I would say
hiking.
Weston Bend, you can get a really good view of
on the river bluffs
Missouri.
up there.
Yeah.
Yep. So there are some good options, I think. Viewer submission. Sorry, viewer. I think I disagree with you on this one.
Mason, where are you at on this one?
Yeah, I think I would likely disagree. I'm not the biggest hiker, so it's hard to draw a ton of personal experience from this one. But I think I would disagree a little bit. I know what they likely mean because I think obviously when you think hiking, I've done some hiking out in Colorado, out in Arizona, and so I've seen that landscape and we are very different from that, but that doesn't mean that we still don't have something really cool to offer when it comes to hiking here on both the Kansas side and the Missouri side.
Absolutely.
For sure. I think maybe just your expectations need to be a little bit different.
Don't expect like you're walking into a giant national park that's gonna it's not, this isn't Yellowstone or
Right.
Grand
Sure.
Canyon. But I'll tell you, it is. There are some really cool things to see. Again, a lot of them are really accessible from a lot of these parks that we talked about, which
For
is
sure.
really cool. You can go spend a day and go see some really cool stuff.
And there's a good mix of kind of the hikers may kill me for this one, but there's a good mix of both kind of the off-road style trails and then kind of the paved stuff. So if you want to just go out, I know Smithville Lake has a lot of really cool trails, some that are paved and some that aren't. And so depending on what you want to do, what you want to experience, you've got options for both.
Definitely, yeah. There's tons of options. So I mean, if you're into hiking, any kind of outdoor things, more than likely you can find a place to do it in Kansas City. Obviously, we don't have like great mountains for skiing or snowboarding or that kind of thing, but we do have some great options for kind of year-round enjoyment of the outdoors. So just kind of depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah. That's great. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. If you have a hot take or a hot spot of the week, we want to hear from you. So feel free to drop it in the comments and it may make a future episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and we'll catch you on the next one.